I have spent over 2,000 hours collecting platinum trophies, and in this video, I'm going to go over them all with you. And keep in mind that a few of these games are considered to be some of the hardest platinums of all time. So I'm just going to jump into it. I have a lot to go over with 88 platinums. Man, I'm really close to 100, but up first is Crash Team Racing Nitro Field. I mean, there's really not much to say about this game. We've all played Crash Bandicoot before, but the stuff I'm going to mention are things like whether I enjoyed the game or not, if I found it difficult, some of the harder trophies possibly, and the amount of time it took me, stuff like that. Crash Team Racing is pretty fun, and the platinum is an enjoyable challenge too. There's really only a couple hard trophies, like beating the game on hard or defeating all of Oxide's ghost. I earned this platinum on July 16th, 2019, and to be honest, I kind of don't remember what I was doing that year. I know this is like the only platinum I got that year, so I have 370 hours played on this game, but I can tell you it didn't take me that long to get the platinum. That's just all casual play. Up next is Spyro the Dragon. I got this platinum on August 15th, 2019, so that's 2 platinums I got that year. There's really not much to say about Spyro. Again, we've all played Spyro, and for the trophies, the whole trophy list is pretty easy. So, unfortunately, I can't show you a clip from the game because I actually don't own the game. As for the time played, it says 52 hours, but that's actually for the whole trilogy, not just the first game. Up next, we have Crash Bandicoot 2 Cortex Strikes Back. I got this platinum on May 7th, 2020. So this is a year we're gonna start seeing a lot of platinums because of COVID lockdowns. I just sat around and platinum a lot of games. I remember this game being kind of difficult. Probably the most difficult of the original trilogy. But it's like nowhere near Crash 4. That's coming up later. As far as the trophy list goes, it's pretty easy. It's just pretty much collect all the collectibles and beat the game. The only hard one is right here, earn all 27 relics, gold or better. That's like to earn the relics, you gotta like speed run each level and get a certain time and then you get a relic. That one, there's a few levels that are kind of difficult to get the gold on. As you can see, only 0.6 of the players have gotten this trophy, so. Just like the Spyro trilogy, the Crash Bandicoot trilogy also clumps all 3 games together. So here it says 157 hours. I just split it into 3, so I'm gonna say like 50 hours it took me to get the platinum. Next we have Ratchet & Clank. I got this platinum on May 14th, 2020. And it's kind of funny, this took me 4 years to complete. Mainly because I wasn't trophy hunting back then. Like most Ratchet & Clank games, the trophies are pretty easy. You just beat the game, get all the collectibles. There's like a few miscellaneous things to do, but other than that, it's pretty straightforward. Ratchet & Clank took me 53 hours, but honestly, it could probably be done in way less. It took, it took me 4 years, so. Up next, we have a really hard one, Call of Duty Modern Warfare Remastered. I earned this platinum on May 16th, 2020. Man, let me tell you, man, this game was pain, bro. This game was so hard. First off, you have to beat the game on veteran mode, which is the hardest difficulty. And some of the levels were not easy to do. Levels like All Gillied Up, that level was really tough. But nothing compares to Mile High Club. Oh my god. Beating this level on veteran difficulty took me hours, and I mean hours. It probably took me like 6 to 7 hours straight trying this level. You have to save a hostage on an enemy airplane, but getting to the airplane is like near impossible. You have to throw stun grenades at the right time, you gotta hide in specific corners, constantly be picking up weapons because you're going to run out of ammo. And on top of all that, you have like 30 seconds to do the whole thing. It's crazy, and this is like one of the hardest trophies I've ever gotten. Only 1% of players have earned the Mile High Club trophy. I have 114 hours played on Call of Duty, but some of that was casual play online. To save time, I'm going to bunch the next 3 games together, so up next we have the original Jak and Daxter trilogy. I earned the first Jak and Daxter Platinum on May 17, 2020, the day after I earned the Call of Duty Platinum. The COVID has me just platinuming every day. The Jak 2 Platinum I earned on May 18th, 2020, so the day after I earned the Jak 1 Platinum. And of course, I earned Jak 3's Platinum on May 19th, 2020, so that's 4 Platinums in 4 days. All 3 Jak games are collectathons, so to get the Platinum, all you pretty much do is collect all the collectibles and beat the game, and the Platinum's yours. Jak and Daxter 1 I have 9 hours played, Jak 2 I have 10 hours, and Jak 3 I have 13 hours. Again, to save time, I'm just gonna clump the next 2 games together. So up next is Spyro 2 Ripto's Rage and Spyro 3 Year of the Dragon. I earned Spyro 2's Platinum on May 20, 2020. So many 20s. And I got Spyro 3's Platinum on May 22nd, 2020. Just like the first game, Spyro 2 and 3 are pretty much just collectathons, so they're really easy. Up next, we have Crash Bandicoot Warped. I earned this Platinum on May 6, 2020. This is probably the easiest of the trilogy. My opinion, it goes Crash 2 is the hardest to Platinum, then Crash 1, then Crash 3. Just because it's the easiest of the trilogy doesn't mean it's not a hard Platinum. You still have to earn, and in this game, 30 gold relics, and like I said before, that's speedrunning each level. Only 0.8% of the players have earned this Platinum trophy. Up next, we have one of the hardest Platinums ever. Crash Bandicoot 4, It's About Time. Bro, this game caused me so much pain, dude. First off, just completing Crash 4 alone is already difficult compared to the last games. But getting the Platinum, they took it a step further. You know how you needed all the gold relics before? Well, in this game, you need all the Platinum relics, which is the highest time achievable, other than like the dev times. And you also need to complete each level and earn the insanely perfect relic. To earn the insanely perfect relic, you have to find all the boxes, all the gems, and collect all the Wampa fruit without dying on every single level. And some levels had boxes hidden in such obscure places that you will have to look them up in order to find them. There's just absolutely no way no normal person will find some of these hidden boxes without looking it up. And same thing with some of the hidden gems. They're just in such out of way places. I don't know how anybody will find them. I earned this Platinum on October 20th, 2020. Only 0.2% of the players have earned this Platinum. Crash Bandicoot 4 took me 193 hours. Damn, that's a long time. But I mean, it's a hard game, so. Up next, we have one of my personal favorites, Skyrim. I earned this Platinum on June 3rd, 2020. Now, Skyrim is a bit of a pain, not because it's a difficult game, even though I kind of prefer to play on higher difficulties, but because there's a million little things to do and multiple storylines. So if you go down one storyline, the other storylines like get locked out, so you got to make like saves at certain points, reload them, go down the other storylines, or join certain factions. You know, there's so many little things to do. There's 2 really annoying trophies in this game. Oblivion Walker, where you have to collect all the Daedric artifacts, and they are such a pain to get, and they're really, really missable. The other really annoying trophy in this game is One with the Shadows. Return the Thieves Guild to its former glory. To do this, you need to do a series of side quests for the Thieves Guild in each of the main cities. But what city you receive is random, and we all know trophies that based on RNG are just absolutely horrible to earn. Now, Skyrim has some DLC, and normally I don't really care about DLC, but if I have it, I will go for it, right? But that leads me to my next point about Skyrim. There's glitched trophies, and oh my god, when a game has glitched trophy, that's about it. I usually won't deal with it. Fortunately, I didn't run into any glitched trophies when I was going for the Platinum, but man, with the DLC, I ran into a lot of glitches and I just said, F it, I'm not doing it. I have 147 hours played in Skyrim. Next is the original Ratchet & Clank. I earned this Platinum on October 24th, 2020. Personally, I like this game better than the 2016 remake, but as for the trophies, it's the same thing. Get all the collectibles and beat the game. There is one really grindy trophy in this game, and that's Bolt Collector, where you have to collect 1,000,000 bolts, and that actually does take a while. Unfortunately, PlayStation doesn't track how long you play PS3 games, so I can't show you how long it took me to platinum Ratchet & Clank. Next, we have the Jak trilogy again, but this time for the PS3. I'm not gonna go over it since I already did. The next 2 platinums are Ratchet & Clank 2 and Ratchet & Clank 3 Up Your Arsenal. Ratchet & Clank 2 I got on October 25th, 2020, and this second Ratchet is actually my favorite game in the original trilogy. And Ratchet & Clank 3 I got on October 27th, 2020. Other than the fact that these 2 games are significantly easier than the first game, there really isn't much to be said that I haven't already said about Ratchet & Clank. Next up is Ratchet & Clank A Crack in Time. If you haven't noticed by now, I really like the Ratchet & Clank game series. And personally, I think the Ratchet & Clank Future series is a lot better than the original trilogy. As for the trophies, it's your typical Ratchet & Clank trophy list except for one trophy. Q-Force Champion. Complete the game on hard. This Ratchet & Clank game has difficulty settings, and completing the game on hard isn't as easy as you think it would be. Only 3.8% of the players have earned this platinum trophy, which is really low for a Ratchet & Clank game. Up next, we have Sly 1 and Sly 3. I got Sly 1's platinum on October 29th, 2020, the same day I got A Crack in Time's platinum. And I got Sly 3's platinum on October 31st, 2020, so on Halloween. These are really easy platinums to get. There isn't a single hard trophy for either of these games. And I'm pretty sure you don't even have to 100% the games to get the platinum. Up next is Fallout 3. I earned this platinum on November 6th, 2020. Fallout 3 isn't like necessarily a hard game to platinum, but it's just kind of like Skyrim where it's a bit of a grind and there's a lot of little things to do. There are 3 really tedious trophies in this game that require you to make it to max level with either bad karma, neutral karma, or good karma. Making it to max level with bad karma is actually pretty easy to do. You just kill everybody in sight and steal everything you see. Making it with neutral karma, you just don't do that. But to make it with good karma, you actually have to avoid certain quests, can't kill anybody, you can't help certain people, you definitely can't steal anything, you can't break into people's property, you can't hack terminals, pretty much can't do anything that you enjoy doing in Fallout to earn that trophy. Fallout 3 also has DLCs and DLC trophies. And I did them all because I had the Game of the Year edition, so it came with all the DLCs. And one of the DLC trophies, this one right here, Mill Worker, find all 100 steel ignits. This one's actually glitched. When you go into the area where all the steel ignits spawn, some of them will actually clip through the map and fall under the map, making it so you can't get them. Fortunately, there's a workaround. There's a guide online that shows you how to climb out the map and then go pick up the steel ignits that fell through. So I was able to get the trophy. Only 2.6% of the players have earned this platinum. Up next is Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart. So I earned this platinum on December 4th, 2021, so a whole year after my last platinum. That year I started going back outside again and touching the grass. I like this game, it was really easy, the trophy is really easy, nothing really more to say. Rift Apart took me 23 hours to platinum. Next is Astro's Playroom. So I also got this platinum on December 4th, 2021, the same day as I got Rift Apart's platinum. As you may guess, this is when I got my PS5 and I was getting back into trophy hunting after that year break. This game comes free with every PS5, so if you're a trophy hunter with the PS5, you should go for this platinum. The trophy list is pretty easy and the game's pretty easy. I really enjoyed the game because it took place within a PS5. Astro's Playroom took me 5 hours to platinum. Up next is Fallout 4. I earned this platinum on December 16th, 2021. Much like Fallout 3 and Skyrim, there's just 1,000 little things to do to earn this platinum. The trophies in this game aren't so bad, to be honest. There's only one really annoying trophy, and that's Benevolent Leader. Reach maximum happiness in a large settlement. To do this, you have to go out and recruit people from smaller settlements to yours, and then you gotta like make sure they have food and water, build shelters, and you even have to build shops and give them jobs. And all this increases their maximum happiness. What makes this the worst trophy in the game though is the fact that you can't leave the settlement while you're trying to do this. If you leave the settlement, then the people will slowly become unhappy and you have to start the whole process over again. And this could take 3 to 4 hours, sometimes even more. Only 2.3% of the players have earned this bronze trophy. Fallout 4 took me 60 hours to platinum. Up next we have Crash Bandicoot 4 again, but this time for the PS5. Yes, I put myself through the pain of getting this platinum twice, which is why you should subscribe. Crash 4 isn't even my hardest platinum. That one's coming up soon. Up next, we have God of War. I really enjoyed this game. The fighting was really good. The cinematic parts of it was like really good. Playing this game was almost like watching a movie. The only thing I really didn't like about it was kind of like traveling around the overworld. Like, you know, you had to row your dumb boat. I know there was kind of like fast traveling, but still it wasn't as good as like Fallout's fast traveling or something, or Skyrim. There are some tough trophies in this game, like Allfather's Blinded, kill all of Odin's ravens. In every area of the game, either far out in the distance or sitting on a tree branch somewhere, there's a raven, and you have to kill them all for this trophy. I went through like half of the game unrealizing this, and I saw the ravens, but I just didn't think anything of it until like midway point. I threw the axe and killed a raven, and in the corner it said like 1 out of 20. And I'm like, god dang it, now I have to go back. But backtracking in this game isn't as easy because you can't just straightforward go back. You have to like find like an alternative route to get back to the point where you were. Another really tough trophy is Chooser of the Slain, defeat the 9 Valkyries. Oh my god, this was actually painful. Playing on a harder difficulty, this took me hours. But even playing on the easiest difficulty, these 9 Valkyries aren't easy. I earned this platinum on December 23rd, 2021. God of War took me 39 hours to platinum. Up next is LEGO DC Super Villains. I earned this platinum on January 6, 2022, so my first platinum in 2022. I decided to go for this platinum thinking it's going to be quick and easy platinum. It was free, why not? Little did I know this was a massive grind. There was like 1,000 collectibles to get. LEGO DC Villains took me 39 hours to platinum. Next is Jedi Fallen Order. I earned this platinum on January 10th, 2022. I don't have much to say about this game. The trophies weren't that bad, the game wasn't that hard, nor was it very long for that matter. Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order took me 28 hours to platinum. Up next we have DCUO trophies, but the game is actually called DC Universe Online. I earned this platinum on January 19th, 2022. I don't really have much to say. This is another free game to play. I don't think you need to be a PS Plus member to play this game online. In this game, you create a hero or a villain, and then you do missions for like Batman or Superman, or on the villain side, Joker or Poison Ivy. As for the trophy, there's only like 13 trophies, and they all basically have you get to max level with every kind of character. It's really easy. As you can see, I actually only have 26% of all the trophies here because there's a crap ton of DLC that I never will ever get around to do. I have 55 hours played on DC Universe Online. Up next is Ratchet & Clank Into the Nexus. I earned this platinum on January 23rd, 2022. And honestly, that's all I'm gonna say about this game. It's really easy, and it's just another Ratchet & Clank game. Up next is Medieval. I earned this platinum on January 25th, 2022, and this was another free game for PS Plus members. Medieval's a pretty easy game, which means the trophies are also pretty easy. Medieval took me 15 hours to platinum. Up next is Sly 2. I earned this platinum on February 1st, 2022. I wonder why Sly 2 is so out of place from Sly 1 and 3. Anyway, just like Sly 1 and 3 though, the game is really easy, and again, I don't think you have to 100% the game to get this platinum. I could be wrong. Up next is Adventure Time Pirates of the Caribbean. I hope I said that right. I earned this platinum on February 3rd, 2022. This is like an RPG kind of game with turn-based fighting. I don't really remember much else about it. I don't remember the story at all, other than you're pirates. This was another free game for PlayStation Plus, and after looking through the trophies, I really don't remember if it was hard or not. Adventure Time took me 12 hours to platinum, so it really must have not been that hard. Up next is Crash Bandicoot. I earned this platinum on May 5th, 2020, and if you're wondering why this platinum wasn't further down on the list, That's because there's a DLC level that I didn't do a trophy for until 2022. It was this trophy right here, in Ancient Antiquity, Do Hard Time. So on the DLC level, Stormy Ascent, getting the gold relic is actually quite difficult. So I didn't do it. I gave up on it at the time because I didn't care about DLCs and I already had the platinum. But then I did Crash 4 twice and I said, you know what? If I can get all platinums in Crash 4, and then I can easily get the gold relic on this level. So I went back 2 years later and I got this trophy. This Crash game only requires 26 gold relics to earn the platinum, so the least in the trilogy. Only 0.7% of the players have earned this platinum. Next up is Far Cry 6. I earned this platinum on March 1st, 2022. This was my first Far Cry experience and I really enjoyed it. So much so that I went on and platinum a few more Far Cry games later on. Much like every other open world game, getting the platinum is a bit of a grind as there's a lot of collectibles and like a lot of side stories and just a lot of things to do. One of the trophies took a minimum of 3 weeks. Oh no you don't. Take out 3 insurgent leaders. You're only allowed to take out 1 leader a week and then you have to wait till next week for another one to spawn. Far Cry 6 took me 72 hours to platinum, so quite a bit of a long game. Up next, we have Stray. I earned this platinum on August 3rd, 2022. Stray took me 5 hours to platinum. The next 2 platinums are South Park, The Stick of Truth, and South Park, The Fractured But Whole. I earned the Stick of Truth's platinum on August 18th, 2022. And I earned the Fractured But Whole's platinum on August 21st, 2022. These games are hilarious, especially if you enjoyed the show. I mean, there's a trophy called CRYPT Forte, which has you use every available toilet in South Park and achieve the highest mastery level for each. To achieve the highest mastery level, you gotta like have perfect farts and stuff. It's just funny stuff. So the Stick of Truth says I have 3 hours played, and the Fractured But Whole says I have 9 hours played. I honestly don't think that's right because it took me a lot longer than 3 hours and 9 hours to platinum these games. Up next, we have another really hard platinum, Hollow Knight. I really enjoyed Hollow Knight. I mean, this is a near perfect game. The world is really fun to explore. The boss fights are extremely challenging and they all have like their own separate mechanics. And when I was done with this platinum, I was actually sad to move on to the next game because I didn't want to stop playing this game. As enjoyable as Hollow Knight is, this game caused me so much mental pain, bro. Hollow Knight is like a 2D Dark Souls game, and the bosses are very similar in that sense. And beating it is still a bit of a challenge, but it's very doable as long as you learn the boss mechanics. You will die a lot along the way, just like Dark Souls, but the real challenge for this platinum comes in with the post game. There's the Pantheon trials, and there's 5 of them. E1 through 3 aren't so bad. It's 10, I think 10 bosses each one, and they're just like mid, just bosses along the way that you've already fought throughout the game. P4 is like the hardest bosses, but like modified versions of them. They're like, I forgot what it's called, like Awakened or something like that, or like Awakened or Ascended. They're like Ascended versions or something. But then P5 is P1 through 4 put together. So you have to beat like 40 or 50 bosses in a row without dying. And my god, man, this was like one of the hardest things I've ever done. This is the trophy, Embrace the Void. Ascend the Pantheon of Hollowness and take your place at its peak. Yeah, that's P5. And this, I never wanted to quit a game so bad in my life. This right here was harder than Crash Bandicoot 4. Yeah, I'm saying it. Pantheon of Hollowness was harder than Crash Bandicoot 4. I earned this platinum on September 5th, 2022. I have 41 hours played in Hollow Knight. Just know, Hollow Knight still isn't even my hardest platinum. Up next, we have Pac-Man World Repack. I earned this platinum on September 7th, 2022. So this is a very easy game. It's just a remake of a PS1 game from the 90s. And the trophy list is just beat the game 100%. But there is one trophy that's actually quite difficult to get. Retro Gamer, clear 9 rounds of original Pac-Man. After you beat the game, there's a arcade machine that unlocks in the beginning of the game, and you can play the original Pac-Man. Well, it's the exact same game from like the 80s or whatever. And clearing 9 rounds of the original Pac-Man is actually pretty hard. I had to look up a guide and like study it because there's like certain patterns you have to memorize in order to make it that far, man. Only 1.6% of the players have earned the Retro Gamer trophy. Pac-Man World took me 13 hours to platinum. Up next is Deliver Us to the Moon. I earned this platinum on September 8th, 2022. This was another free game for PlayStation Plus members, or like free game of the month or something like that. I really enjoyed this game because I've always had dreams of going to the moon. So this was really fun for me. But it was also a very easy platinum as well. Deliver Us to the Moon took me 8 hours to platinum. The next 2 platinums on my list are Ghost of Tsushima for the PS4 and for the PS5. And I will admit, the PS5 was an auto pop. Yes, there's a few trophies on my list that are auto pops. I don't have that many. And I've already sworn to never do that again because honestly, it just feels wrong to auto pop trophies like that. I earned Ghost of Tsushima's platinum on September 13th, 2022. Ghost of Tsushima is another one of those games where playing it is like watching a movie. It's really, really, really good. As for the trophies are your typical open world RPG trophies. Beat the game, do all the side quests, find all the stuff. It's just really easy. I didn't do all the DLC. I didn't do New Game Plus. I didn't do Legends mode. That's like some kind of online PvP thing or something like that. I did do the Iki Island story DLC. I don't know what this is. Ghost of Tsushima appears twice on my game list for some reason. I don't know why. But one of them says 13 hours while the other one says 52 hours. I'm gonna go with the 52-hour one, so I'm gonna say that it took me that long to platinum. Up next is Pac-Man World again, and this was not a auto pop. I'll tell you which ones are all the auto pops and which ones aren't. I just did this one twice because it's really easy. The next platinum is Spirit of the North Enhanced Edition. I earned this platinum on September 16th, 2022. And to be honest, I really don't remember anything about this game other than you play as a fox and you kind of chase spirits around or something like that. Spirit of the North took me 6 hours to platinum. My next platinum is Fallout New Vegas. I earned New Vegas' platinum on September 22nd, 2022. This was actually a difficult platinum. In my opinion, this is probably the most difficult Fallout platinum to earn, other than maybe like Fallout 76, the online one. But there are like so many storylines you have to go down. And then you have to make a save at some point and then come back to it. It's one of those things. But this Fallout game also has a trophy called Hardcore. Play the game from start to finish in hardcore mode. Hardcore mode is not easy, and you have to keep eating and drinking to get energy and health. Otherwise you will die. You have to keep sleeping. It's like trying to simulate real life. Along with it trying to be like real life, the enemies have so much freaking health and they hit so freaking hard. Just staying alive in this mode is just an absolute pain. Only 1.2% of the players have earned this platinum trophy. My next 2 platinums are Maneater for the PS4 and for the PS5. Again, the PS5 was an auto pop. I earned this platinum on September 24th, 2022. This was a free game, and you play as a shark, you swim around, and you just eat a bunch of tourists that are trying to surf and or go fishing and stuff. It's pretty fun, and it's pretty silly too. The trophies are pretty easy. I don't remember it being that hard. Maneater took me 15 hours to platinum. The next 3 platinums are Marvel's Spider-Man, Marvel's Spider-Man Miles Morales, and then the same game but for the PS5, and that one was an auto pop. I earned the platinum for Marvel's Spider-Man on September 26, 2022. And I earned the platinum for Miles Morales on September 29th, 2022. I'm just gonna keep it brief. There isn't anything I can say about these games that you already haven't heard. They're amazing and the platinums are very easy. I have 74 hours played in Marvel's Spider-Man, and for Miles Morales, I have 17 hours played. My next platinum is Tome. I earned this platinum on September 15th, 2022. Tome, I have 6 hours played. Up next is Witchwood. I earned this platinum on October 1st, 2022, and to be honest, I have zero recollection of this game. Witchwood took me 10 hours to platinum. This next one was a bit of a challenge. Cuphead. Coming from a game like Hollow Knight, this wasn't the hardest platinum, but some of the trophies were still really hard. One of the harder trophies was beat the devil at his own game. Complete the game on expert. Of course, completing the game on expert is going to be difficult, but I didn't find the normal bosses that hard. The ones I found that hard were the airplane levels where you have to fight bosses in your airship. Those levels, especially the mermaid one. The mermaid, I think she's Medusa. I think you're fighting Medusa. She turns you to stone, and I never figured out how to avoid it. But in my opinion, the hardest trophy required for the platinum is Pacifist. Complete all levels without killing an enemy. There's 5 run and gun levels, and like the trophy description says, you have to complete them all without killing a single enemy. And that's really difficult to do as enemies are coming at you from like all directions on all these levels. And the really hard one was, there was like a fish level where fish are jumping at you, and at one point you jump on an octopus's head and he slowly carries from one dock to the other, and all while all these fish are like jumping at you. It's really easy to do when you're shooting them, but when you're not trying to kill them, it's extremely hard. And this one trophy alone almost had me quit this platinum. Cuphead has a DLC, and I know I normally don't do DLCs, but Cuphead is so fun that I had to do this one. And I even paid for it. The bosses in the DLC are much harder than the bosses in the main game. Like, there's a boss where you're fighting on top of an airplane, the boss in an airplane, and eventually the screen gets flipped upside down and your controls become backwards. So you gotta start dodging everything with backwards controls. Keep in mind that there's a trophy called Cook to Perfection. Get an S rank on a stage of equal out of 4. This is so freaking hard to do. First off, to get an S rank, you need to be playing on expert difficulty. And then on top of that, you cannot get hit at all during the fight. Dude, you have to be playing on expert and can't get hit. Then you have to beat the fight in less than 2 minutes. So expert, can't get hit, and you gotta beat the fight as fast as you can. And on top of all that, you have to do 3 parries. I think it's 3 parries during the fight. And once you do all that during a fight without getting hit, you will get an S rank. And that is not easy to do in the DLC with the hardest bosses in the game. I earned Cuphead's platinum on October 4th, 2022. Cuphead took me 39 hours to get all the trophies. My next platinum is Returnal, and I earned this platinum on October 9th, 2022. So everything in this game spawns randomly. The level layout spawns randomly, the enemies within the level will spawn randomly, the weapons you find spawn randomly, even the collectibles have a chance to spawn or not. Everything about this game is random. So there's 6 areas in this game, and each area has a trophy related to finding all the collectibles in that area. And like I said before, trophies that are based around RNG are just absolutely horrible to get. Other than the randomness to it, I did enjoy the game. It had like this weird unique twist to it. If you died, you start back at the beginning with nothing, similar to like My Leben and stuff like that, but it wasn't a very long game, like half hour to an hour at the most, so dying, you don't lose much progress. My PlayStation says I have 7 hours played for Returnal. I don't know if that's right or not. It didn't take me that long, I think, a couple days at most, but 7 hours seems a little short. My next platinum is Ape Escape. I earned this platinum on October 10th, 2022. My PlayStation says I have 1 hour played on Ape Escape. The next 2 platinums are My Name is Mayo and My Name is Mayo 2. I earned both these platinums on October 10th, 2022. These are my easiest platinums on my whole list. I don't think I have a game as easy as these anywhere else. The closest would be Ape Escape. These are, you pay $1, you spam X for about an hour, and you get a platinum. That's it. That's literally what you do in all these games. These are the only kind of games like this I have on my trophy list. I do not buy easy platinums like this. I don't enjoy these kind of games. Both these games took me less than 1 hour to platinum. Up next is Far Cry 3 Classic Edition. I earned this platinum on October 15th, 2022. To keep things short, this was just like Far Cry 6, so yeah, I'm just gonna move on. Far Cry 3 took me 25 hours to platinum. Up next is My Name is Mayo again, but for the PS Vita. I'm not gonna say anything about this, so let's just skip it. So really what's up next is CRYPT for the PS Vita. I earned this platinum on October 24th, 2022. And honestly, I don't remember anything about this platinum. I was going on a trip, so I decided to get a bunch of PS Vita games and get some platinums while I was on the plane. Just like the PlayStation 3, the Vita also doesn't keep track on how long you play the game, so I can't tell you how long it took me to get the platinum. Up next is Assassin's Creed Valhalla. I earned this platinum on October 30th, 2022. I'm going to be honest, I did not like this game. I really didn't like this game. I thought I was going to enjoy this game. No, this was just a huge open world of collecting a bunch of BS, and every mission you had to do sucked. Every side mission sucked, every main story mission sucked. Assassin's Creed Valhalla took me 103 hours to platinum. See, that's the other thing. The game sucked and it took forever to platinum. Up next is Uncharted Drake's Fortune for the PS3. I earned this platinum on November 1st, 2022. I like how the trophy description just says platinum. I'm not gonna say much about Uncharted because we've all probably heard of it by now, but I will say there are difficulty trophies. So you get to beat the game on the hardest difficulty, and that's never easy to do. And in this game, the enemies just absorb bullets. Unless you shoot them in the head, they just won't die. Only 3.2% of the players have earned this platinum trophy. Up next is Ratchet Deadlocked, but I'm going to skip this because I've already gone over Ratchet and Clank many times. Up next is Bloodborne. I earned this platinum on November 8th, 2022. That's my sister's birthday. Bloodborne was my first FromSoft experience, and man, what an experience it was. This game kicked my butt over and over again. I mean, the whole game, my cheeks were clenching, my palms were sweating, and my toes were curling, bro. At first, I thought this was going to be the hardest platinum I've ever gotten because it was just that difficult in the beginning. But then once you learn the mechanics of the game and the bosses, it's really not that bad. It's just kind of confusing getting everything in one run. You're gonna need to follow a guide. A guide is definitely needed for this trophy, Childhood's Beginning. You become an infant great one, lifting humanity into its next childhood. I don't know what that means, but this game has 3 different endings, and that's one of them. And to activate this ending, you need to find, and these are hidden in some random places in this world. You need to find 3 dead, unborn babies' umbilical cords. And then before the last boss, you gotta like eat them or something. And then this thing like appears out of the sky, and then you fight it, and then you become like the next great one. It's really confusing. I didn't really follow the story because it's kind of hard to follow, honestly. Another really hard trophy in this game was Yharnam, Thumerian Queen. Defeat Yharnam, Blood Queen of the Old Labyrinth. So there's like 7 dungeons in this game that you can go through. They're like extra. I forgot what they're called, but there's like these 7 dungeons, and she's the last one. And one of the dungeon cuts your health in half, making like you one shot from the enemies and the bosses. And this trophy, in my opinion, was probably the hardest trophy in the whole game. Bloodborne does have DLC, but I just never got around to doing it. Even though I have it, I actually own this one, I just never got around to doing it. Bloodborne took me 38 hours to platinum. My next platinum is My Name is Mayo 3, and that's all I'm gonna say about it. I did the Jack trilogy again, but this time for the Vita. These are more plain right platinums. The next 2 platinums are Sly 1 and Sly 2 for the Vita. Up next are more plain right platinums. It's the original Ratchet & Clank trilogy again. Yo, don't judge me with all these repeats. The only way to pass time on a plane is to hunt for some platinum trophies, okay? Up next is Biomutant. I earned this platinum on December 23rd, 2022. Biomutant was another free game, and I'm going to be honest, this was an extremely boring game. I mean, it felt unfinished. I think it was going for like a Fallout kind of vibe, like post-apocalyptic kind of thing, and you play as like a fox, like a mutated fox. But getting this platinum felt like a chore more than anything else. Like, the only reason why I put myself through it was because I started it and it was easy, so I figured I might as well finish it. But man, it was not fun. I did not enjoy it at all. Biomutant took me 11 hours to platinum. My next two platinums are Horizon Zero Dawn and Horizon Forbidden West. I earned Horizon Zero Dawn's platinum on May 8th, 2021, and the reason why it's so far up on the list is because I came back and did the DLCs when I did Horizon Forbidden West. And I earned Horizon Forbidden West platinum on December 30th, 2022. Both Horizon games are very good, and they're free, so it makes them even better. But I'm not going to take up too much time talking about them, as I'm pretty sure we've all heard of them and most likely have played them. But they are easy platinums, so that's all I really have to say. Horizon Zero Dawn took me 78 hours to get all the trophies, DLC included, and Horizon Forbidden West took me 56 hours just to get the platinum. My next three platinums are Elden Ring, Dark Souls Remastered, and Dark Souls 2 Scholar of the First Sin. I earned Elden Ring's platinum on January 10th, 2023, so the first platinum of this year. I earned Dark Souls platinum on January 20th, 2023. I earned Dark Souls 2's platinum on February 5th, 2023. Listen, I can talk about Dark Souls and From Software games all day, but to keep time short, because now I feel like this video is going to be long, the trophy experience is a lot similar to Bloodborne experience, and in my opinion, Bloodborne was a lot harder than Elden Ring or any of the Dark Souls games, but that's just me. Elden Ring took me 45 hours to platinum, Dark Souls took me 53 hours to platinum, Dark Souls 2 took me 35 hours to platinum. My next platinum is Hogwarts Legacy. I earned this platinum on February 18th, 2023. So my experience platinuming this game was horrible, absolutely painful. All the trophies that had trophy tracking were just glitched, just completely glitched, because I got this game on day one. I was excited to play this game, and like half the trophies were glitched. So ultimately 100% of the game, and then I had to wait for like an update patch to fix all the trophies to get this platinum. But other than that, the game was great and I enjoyed playing it. My next two platinums are The Last of Us Part 1 and The Last of Us Part 2. I earned The Last of Us Part 1's platinum on February 22nd, 2023. And I earned The Last of Us Part 2's platinum on March 2nd, 2023. So because these games got a TV show, I don't really need to explain. I feel like I don't have to explain them. Everybody has heard Joel and Ellie's story by now. These platinums were not hard to get either. I really enjoyed both games. I know a lot of people didn't like the second game. The Last of Us Part 1 took me 22 hours to platinum, and The Last of Us Part 2 took me 25 hours to get all the trophies. My next platinum is LEGO Star Wars The Skywalker Saga. I earned this platinum on March 13th, 2023. I didn't think this game was going to be as bad as the DC villain game, but it was actually worse. There was more collectibles and a longer story in this game. This took me a long time to complete for a LEGO game. LEGO Star Wars took me 56 hours to platinum. That's just too long for a LEGO game. Up next is Dark Souls 3. I earned Dark Souls 3's platinum on April 6, 2023. Dark Souls 3 is like the perfect sequel to 1 and 2. I know most people's favorite From Software game is Elden Ring, but in the Dark Souls, this is probably the best one in the trilogy. Dark Souls 3 took me 89 hours to platinum. My next platinum is one of the top 10 hardest platinums of all time. Wolfenstein 2: The New Colossus. I earned this platinum on April 24th, 2023. You thought Crash Bandicoot 4 or Hollow Knight was pain? No, man. Those games do not compare to what this game put me through mentally, man. A single bronze trophy makes this one of the hardest platinums to achieve. My Leben. Beat the game on My Leben difficult. My Leben is a permadeath run, so if you die anywhere in the game, you have to start the whole game over again. And dying towards the end is like the worst feeling ever. Wolfenstein 2 does have DLC, and I do own them. I was going to do them, but after I got the platinum, I was so exhausted from the game. I said, no way, man. I gotta put this game down and move on. It's tearing my mental state apart. I actually have a video on this platinum experience, so if you want to watch me suffer, you can check it out after this video. Wolfenstein 2 took me 120 hours to platinum. Look, it says 69% done. Well, that's my platinum trophy collection. I really hope you liked it. Be sure to subscribe so you can follow me along to 100 platinums. I'm really close. And make sure to like it as well so that every trophy hunter on YouTube can see this video. I need YouTube to know that this is a platinum channel. Get that algorithm to work, please. As for some future videos, I'm going to stick to harder games. So my next video is going to be Spelunky 2. That's supposed to be like a 9 out of 10 in difficulty. And then I know my 100th platinum is going to be Super Meat Boy. I already have it bought and installed. I cannot wait to platinum that game. I've been wanting that game on my list for so long, and I've already promised myself a long time ago that that was going to be my 100th platinum. And this can't be a trophy video without hearing that platinum pop. So here's that sweet sound of dopamine. That's gonna do it for this video. Thank you for watching again, and seriously, check out my Wolfenstein 2 video if you want to see me suffer.